Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending on wherever you are located in the world. And I'd like to welcome you to Dashboard in an Hour, featuring Power BI. So the focus of our discussion today would be, or this hour, in the next hour, would be dashboards. And dashboards can be as generic as any type of data put together from your businesses. Now, what to expect in the next hour would be I'm going to do a brief introduction of our company, Hitachi Limited, as well as Hitachi Solutions. Um, a bit of introduction on a dashboard in an hour, the 1 hour session. And of course, the main discussion point, which is Power BI. Afterwards, we will be doing a very short application demo. So it's just going to be a very basic demo. So you know how easy it is to do on your end. We would like to highlight the fact that this is so user friendly, and in fact, you can create your own dashboard in just a matter of minutes. And if time permits, we do have Q&A sessions. And as Nina has mentioned, please type in your questions as we move along with the session. Just a brief introduction. My name is Yon Caballero, or Ian Del Caballero. I'm one of the CE functional consultants at Hitachi Solutions. I have 15 plus years of combined CRM and ERP consulting experience, both in-house as well as in a consulting capacity. This includes applications like NetSuite, Xplan, HubSpot, Salesforce, and now Microsoft D365. My focus business areas are sales, customer service, field service, marketing, business automation, retail, and e-commerce. I belong to the service delivery team, specifically CRM consulting and pre-sales. And if you want to connect, if you have any questions right after the webinar, you can always add me in LinkedIn. And this would be my personal URL for you to add. So that's it about me. Let's talk about Hitachi Limited. Now, Hitachi Limited has a corporate statement of Inspire the Next. So that should give you an idea that since 1910, Hitachi Limited has been a leader in manufacturing innovative products and solutions that support industry and social infrastructure around the globe. So we've always tried to be innovative in every business that we are engaged in. Globally, we are 303,000 employees strong. We're composed of 864 companies. 677 of that is outside Japan, being Japan as the home base for Hitachi. We are ranked 102 in the Fortune Global 500 and ranked 8 as well for our technology companies under Fortune Global 500 as well. We are present across the globe in 100 plus countries as well. So Hitachi Limited has businesses in pretty much a lot of industries worldwide. The biggest of them so far, for which has a share of 25.5% of our overall business, is social infrastructure and industrial systems. And the second largest would be where I belong, which is information and telecommunication systems at 21.6%. Other industries that we're involved in would be high functional materials and components, electric systems and equipment, smart life, automotive systems, construction machinery, and other businesses. And I'm pretty sure that you guys are familiar with the brand name because especially out here in Manila, if you try to check out Ortigas, there's just a lot of Hitachi slogans out there that you could check out in the Ortigas area. So let's talk about Hitachi Solutions, the company I work for. Hitachi Solutions, we are committed to building industry solutions based on the power and benefits of the Microsoft platform. That being said, what this means is that Hitachi Solutions is Microsoft focused 100%. So we offer our services purely built on top of the Microsoft technologies. Our team members globally includes 3,000 plus employees in 14 plus countries globally. So in terms of our workforce, we have presence in North America, Europe, Middle East, China, India, Japan. India being our largest workforce because it's our global delivery center, and Southeast Asia, where I'm based out of in Manila, which also includes the markets in Australia and New Zealand. Now, I'd like to point out that the Philippines is also the global delivery center for the Southeast Asia region. Now, in terms of recognitions and awards, some of the accolades that we did enjoy from Microsoft is having been recognized 42 times as a Microsoft Partner of the Year. In fact, last year we were awarded Partner of the Year for Field Service and Global Government, and was also a finalist for Customer Service and Global Manufacturing and Resources. And I would like to point out that. When you are recognized as a Microsoft partner, it's based on two KPIs, namely productivity and revenue of the project. So you need to have good grades on those to be able to be recognized as partner of the year. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you're dealing with, should you get our services, you're dealing with an organization that's been, that's been proven and is recognized by the provider themselves, which is Microsoft. And apart from that, we're part of the Microsoft Inner Circle, Microsoft Gold Partner, as well as the Microsoft Partner Advisory Council for so many years now. So that does say a lot about our capability. And mentioning capability, Forrester, which is a market research firm, has recognized Hitachi Solutions as a strong performer amongst the top global Microsoft Dynamics partners in a 30 criteria evaluation. So this includes implementation services, innovation roadmap, global market presence, close Microsoft partnership, customer satisfaction, and delivery quality. So having been recognized by Forrester also is in addition to our accolades, I would say. So again, that should be like an additional confidence of doing business or making us your provider eventually. And in reference to our capabilities, we provide a unique combination of industry expertise and Dynamics product knowledge, and we divide it into 4 major areas. In terms of technology, we have Dynamics ERP, Dynamics CRM, business intelligence, field service automation, portals and collaboration, and Hitachi IP, or our Hitachi developed solutions built on top of the Microsoft Dynamics platform. So these are industry or vertical specific solutions that we've developed at Hitachi Solutions for our customers. In terms of people, we do provide change leadership and management, training, as well as consensus methodology. Now, moving on to industry expertise, the verticals that we focus on would be retail. And a good example of that would be food and beverage and apparel and footwear. We actually offer an IP or a solution that we've developed, and it's called Loyalty Management System, built on top of CRM. So these are targeted towards customers that are interested in having a more efficient way of managing customer loyalty. Transportation and maritime verticals, such as seaports and maritime services provider. A product that we offer is called Ports for seaport management. Financial services like banking, insurance, capital markets. We have Engage for banking and Engage for insurance, which are Hitachi IPs as well that we offer to our clients. Professional services in real estate, we have project firms like general contractors would be a good example of those businesses. In manufacturing, we have extended field service as an IP. Which would be targeted towards food manufacturing, process manufacturing businesses and the like. And then healthcare, we have healthcare solutions built on top of Dynamics as well. This would be targeted towards clients in like hospitals or nursing home businesses. Moving on to managed services, we do provide application management and support, hosting and management, and global development center. So that's just a very short and sweet introduction about our company. And so moving on to our the topic at hand, or the subject matter, which is Power BI dashboard. Now, I'd like to invite you to this screenshot, because this is what we will be demoing later on, and we will be building this from scratch. So as you can see, it may look a little bit overwhelming. It looks like an advanced tool from the get-go, but later on, you'd probably be surprised how easy it is to build from scratch, and that's really the goal for the Power Platform, where Power BI is a part of, is to make it easy and empower users in terms of developing samples like this, like a dashboard or an app, for instance. Now, before moving on, I'd like to introduce two key concepts that's very near to Power BI. Now, one concept is digital transformation. Now, as you know, digital transformation is, or every industry, I mean, is undergoing a fundamental transformation, especially now in this time of pandemic. Companies are trying to digitize their processes and their business essentially. And to disrupt and innovate, organizations must take on a strategy that connects their customers, employees, products, and operations so that customers have ideal experiences, employees are empowered to do their best, the best products and services are being developed and delivered, and operations can ensure effectiveness and efficiency across the business. Now, digital transformation is happening across these areas. Another concept I'd like to introduce is digital feedback loop. Now, in relation to digital transformation, if you ask people, what is digital transformation, you might get different answers. So what Microsoft did was they created a framework called digital feedback loop, and this is what you're looking at right now, to highlight how digital information is enabled. As you can see, data is coming in, and then through the intelligent systems, data comes back out and then back in. So at the center again is data. Data is coming out of everything. Every single product at this point is being wired up with telemetry and the ability to collect data. So for instance, you personally, every time you browse the web, there's telemetry being created. And so this torrent of information allows people, or allows us to better understand our customers when doing business, our operations, the use of our products and services, and these fuel digital transformation. Two important concepts. Now, Microsoft products enable the digital transformation. It all starts with data, as we mentioned earlier, and Azure will store your data in the cloud. The Power Platform products, including Power BI, will enable the work with your data and end users. Next layer will be enabling your users with Office 365 and Dynamics 365 products. The last part of your digital transformation are the additional applications. Your data sources can be from anywhere internally or externally. Intelligent systems were designed to enable the digital feedback loop. So essentially, as you can see, all these business applications work together in this feedback loop so that you become a more advanced organization in the way you handle data, in the way you do your business per line of business that you have. So for instance, in CRM, we have marketing, we have sales, we have service. That's the customer side of things. For accounting or ERP, we have talent, also human resource, by the way. There's finance, there's operations, there's commerce, and then recently IoT for transformative products. So as you can see, this view allows you to see the complete picture of different areas of a digital feedback loop. Power BI and the Power Platform products are part of this transformation story and the intelligent systems through your entire organization. So speaking of Power Platform is, when it comes to analytic tools, because really the star of this session is Power BI. So when it comes to analytics tools and solutions, it's also important to know what's out there and to leverage solutions that work with Power BI to support better and faster decision making. Now, Power BI is one of the 4 important components of the Microsoft Power Platform, along with Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. With Power BI, you can analyze data and make sense of your data through interactive, real-time dashboards. With Power Apps, you can build apps in hours, not months like before, that easily connect to data, use Excel-like expressions to add logic and run on the web or pretty much iOS and Android devices. And then moving on, you can integrate your systems with other systems through Power Automate, which includes a powerful workflow automation program, which directly works with your apps with no code approach that connects to hundreds of popular apps and services. And then we have Power Virtual Agents, which you can help to connect with your customer. As when you add a virtual agent to your organization, you automate communication with virtual agents. So you have this full experience for your customer and and a very good interaction among your business lines. Now let's talk about the evolution of business intelligence. In the early days of business intelligence, organizations would typically have a team or person handling all requests for insights from the business. And this is like your local IT guy. And then if you have a request for some data or from a database that they have access to, IT would do that for you. That used to be how it was. This model is actually challenging because it's not scalable. It can take a long time for the answer to get back to the user. And sometimes when IT is ready to give back the request, by the time it does, a new question probably has already come up. So to address this challenge for scalability and gap between BI team and end users, we have the second wave, which is self-service business intelligence, wherein we empower analysts to do their own data analysis. Now comes the third wave, which is where Power BI sits. With Power BI, we want to enable everyone in the organization to analyze their data, ask the right questions, and help them run their business better and act based on the insights they find. So basically, just like in any of our Power Platform products, we would like to empower everyone in the organization because frontliners or end users of every companies out there, they know their processes better, they know their work better. So if we empower them through Power BI, they will be able to slice and dice the correct data, look for the right insights, and act on them when they're able to identify challenges or opportunities. So that's currently the evolution of, or that's currently where Power BI is at in the evolution of business intelligence. All right. So what is the Power BI experience exactly? We allow you to experience your data through Power BI. It's any data, any way, and anywhere. The reason for it is because with Power BI, just like with Power Apps, you do have access to pre-built data connectors, over 100 of them, and it can be from the cloud or on-premise or a combination. And sorry about that, guys. New normal. Just had someone knock on the door. Anyway, moving on. So Power BI will help connecting, loading, transforming the data, and creating reports, dashboards, applications, and data visualization. And the deliverables can be viewed on a variety of platforms, which we will explore later in more details. So you have the ability to output it through the web, your mobile, Excel, or embedded applications, as well as HoloLens and future developments out there down the road. So that's how powerful Power BI can be. And later on, you will be able to see a glimpse of how that looks like as we feature basic features of the program. Power BI has a large global footprint, so it adheres to international and regional compliance certifications and attestations, privacy and data protection policies and processes, data transfer and location processes, and security features and functionality. You can learn more about it actually on Power BI certifications in the Microsoft Trust Center in their website. And if you want to, if you want to be able to get familiar with how important data protection is for this program, then that would be the best place to start. In February 2020, Gartner has actually acknowledged that Power BI specifically is a Magic Quadrant leader in analytics and BI platforms. So as you can see, I hope everyone can see this. As you can see, we are well over, we're well above the competition in this quadrant for leaders. And this would be as a software, you would want to sit in this quadrant, which means you're innovative, you're innovative, and you are a leader in this line. So of course, that says a lot about the power of Power BI to get that recognition. So we will have some sort of a data journey as we move along the process of demoing it to you. And Power BI data journey includes 4 phases. And again, I'm featuring in here the screenshot of what we will be featuring, or what we will be building actually later on. So this data journey includes 4 phases, as I've mentioned. We have the prepare phase, explore phase, visualize, share, and collaborate. So the whole data, once you work with it in Power BI, goes through these phases. Now, for prepare, what do we mean? For prepare, for the preparation phase, this is where you access all your data. And as I've mentioned earlier, you do have access to pre-built data connectors or data sources that can be from a SaaS solutions like Marketo or Salesforce. It can also be from your organization. So organizational data, on-premise data from Azure, from your Excel files, and even other Power BI desktop files. So again, you have a choice of more than 100 data sources, both on-premise and cloud, that you can choose. So this is done through the Get Data feature of Power BI, which I'm going to showcase later. So another stage in the prepare phase is the clean and mash up your cleaning and mashing up your data. So this is the part wherein we once we get the data, then we are able to cleanse the data by removing information that we actually do not need for this particular analysis that you're trying to do. Change formats as well. Add columns that you might be interested in doing, like formulas or calculations. And this is where you highlight exceptions and understand business outcomes as well. In the explore phase, this is where we dig deeper into your reports. So explore data in a variety of ways and across multiple visualizations. You select data elements and sort data. You filter data. You drill into it. You pivot and slice and change visualization types. Now, later on, you will also see a very convenient feature called Ask a Question, wherein you type in a question, a human-like question in Power BI, and it's going to return with the data answering that question. And it's really, really an advanced tool in business intelligence that I'm really excited to show to you guys. In the visualize phase of your data, this is where we build visualizations. By visualizations, I meant charts, I meant graphs. So this is where you add, your donuts, your pie charts, your field maps, your tree maps. Custom visuals available are also available that you can add in. And then, excuse me. And then this is the part wherein you will be able to publish to Power BI. Later on, you will see that there is a desktop application that you use to make the design. And then when you publish it, it goes online. You will see that as well. Now, you can bring your story to life with Power BI in the share and collaborate phase. So after saving and publishing it, you can definitely share your output or the product of your Power BI report or dashboard. And you can also add people or other users to collaborate to it. And that's the beauty about Power BI, which makes it very, very powerful. And it's also very mobile. You can access your story everywhere with mobile access. So you can access your dashboards using native mobile apps for Windows, iOS, and Android. just like any other mobile apps out there. It's easy sign-in process, and you are able to view data on demand as you need it because it's just right in the palm of your hand. So that's a very quick discussion on Power BI. Right now, we are ready to do an application demo. This is the part wherein I will be showing you I'll be showing you 3 phases of the demo. Now, the first part, I'll be showing you a generic dashboard view from a Dynamics CRM application, wherein we will feature what a generic dashboard is or what it looks like and how it behaves in Dynamics. And then moving on to the second part, I'll be showing you a dashboard using the same data set that was designed in Power BI. So we can make a comparison between the generic dashboard and the one in Power BI. And then the third part would be building the actual dashboard from the application. So there is a Power BI desktop application that you can download actually it's for free from the Microsoft site. So, after this webinar, feel free to sign up and then explore it on your own. All right, so what you're looking at right now is a generic dashboard in a Dynamics 365 interface. So as you can see, by the way, just a quick background of the data set that we have. So this is a company which has a procurement process. So the kind of data that we have is centered around device procurement. So we call it device orders, by the way. So in this case, I am a user from the purchasing department, and I'm digesting this data, slicing and dicing it for my job, for my daily job. So looking at it, we have 4 portlets on this dashboard. The first portlet is a pie chart, right? So as you can see in the pie chart, the label says orders by device type. So we do have several device types, which we can also scroll to the sideways. So we have mobile device, I/O, storage, laptop, sound system. So as I can see here, I have the biggest chunk of my orders are for laptops at 795 units. And if I mouse over on the other parts, it's also going to tell me what those are. Now, on the second portlet, it tells me the orders by manufacturer. Now, this is important to me as a purchasing person because it will tell me that I have a lot of reorders for Dell, for Hitachi brand, for NVIDIA. So I'd be curious to check with our inventory guys and see if they're running low on these products because I see a big order. And I would like to understand, probably help them understand predicting future needs based on trends. So this is what the second portlet is, how this is beneficial to me as that purchasing person. Now, the third portlet is showing you orders by estimated ship date. So this tells me that last August 2nd was our busiest in terms of receiving shipment from our orders. So this also gives me information that I can pass on to our logistics team or our warehouse people so that they can properly allocate resources for this activity. So if you can just imagine, if it's a high volume company, having this kind of data readily available is very beneficial to the operation. Now, moving on to the fourth portlet, you can see here a static linear table that shows me, essentially it's a list of all the device orders in the system. So I can, this has been divided into pages, so I can just move accordingly. Now, as it is a static, what this means is I'm limited to how it is presented as is. So if I want to be able to transform the data, like put it in a pivot, what I can do is I could come up here in the ellipsis and then export it to Excel. As you can see, it's been downloaded, and then I could continue slicing and dicing or making the necessary transformation of the data in Excel. So it's going to be a third-party application from that point on. So as you can see, this is pretty much static. It is live. It's being fed from a live data, but this is a static presentation, as you can see. And I would now like to go to the second part of the demo, which is the dashboard view, which was designed in Power BI. All right. Okay. Now, as you can see, this dashboard has several elements in it, right? And then look at how interactive this dashboard is. Again, I'd like to remind you that this is the same data set being used in the background by the dashboard that I showed to you guys earlier. And this is how interactive this dashboard is. For instance, this tree map, right? So the tree map is representing the device order by device type. So these are device types. You have laptop, you have output, desktop, and it's also representative of the size of the order I mean, the number of orders per type. So if I click on laptop, notice what happens to the data. It updates everything according to what I selected, which is laptop. So it acts like a filter of sort. So as you can see, these are laptops. This is now filtered. The linear table is now filtered according to my selection here. Now, what I'd like to point out as well is that it's not only that where you can do it, it's pretty much every component in the dashboard. So look at what happens when I click here. Right? So it filters it according to whatever I touch or whatever I select or whatever I selected in the dashboard. So let's go to the individual portlets real quick. We have a donut portlet, which is showing you the orders by manufacturer. So it tells me that we have a lot of orders coming from for Asus and Hitachi, as well as Lenovo. And the second portlet tells me the approval status per requester. So this is important for me because it tells me, based on what I see immediately, why this requester seems to be having more rejections than approvals. So I can dig deeper into why that is and understand what could be the disconnect. And the next portlet here would be your average approval time in days. So on your left would be the approvers, and it tells me, based on this portlet, who among the approvers seem to be having challenges in getting requests approved, and I could get clarifications with them. So it basically helps you in the efficiency of your operations. The tree map, which I've demoed earlier, basically it acts as a filter, and in the same way that the linear table acts earlier, it's pretty much the same as well. But again, it has the added interactivity that the Power BI dashboard has. Now, there's another interesting element that we've added to the dashboard, which is the data slicer. If you notice on top, I have approval status. I can toggle between approve or reject in filtering the results. So if I click on approve, I only see approved orders. And I can actually do another level of filter by clicking on, in the same way that I did earlier. Let's say I'm interested in seeing approved orders for the Hitachi brand. And I can easily see that based on those filters, I'm seeing 3.63 million total orders and 112 orders from that brand that are all approved. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you have this added interactivity that gives you data on demand. Now, another thing that I was so excited to share with you guys is asking about your data. Now, you can do that in the Power BI site, which, sorry about that, guys. If you notice this button, open in Power BI, if you click on that, it brings you to the Power BI site and loads that desktop that loads that dashboard that we have earlier in the dynamic site. So here, as you can see, this is the Q&A feature right on top. If you see, ask a question about your data. So I click on that field, look what happens. It brings you to the Q&A screen. Now, actually, Power BI has like suggested questions that you can ask. So let's say I'm interested to know the maximum price of an order. So let's click that, and it tells you it's about 151,000. We can also, let's try to come up with questions. Let's say number of devices, all right? Or number of device orders. I can see here that based on my questions, the answer is 1,472. And then let's try to complicate it a little bit. Device orders, let's say per manufacturer. Okay, so it answers that question as well. Let's go a little bit deeper. Okay, so now you have a manufacturer as well as device type included into the mix. So this is a very convenient and powerful tool that you can use with human-like questions, and then the data comes back to you. So I just want to highlight that because it's a very interesting and cool feature that you can use, especially if you're really the end user and you're the analyst doing all these data analysis jobs. So it's very, very helpful for you on a daily basis, right? So moving on, that concludes the second part of the demo. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a dashboard from scratch using Power BI desktop app. So this is what it looks like, the application. And again, you can download it for free from Microsoft. Now, Power BI desktop app is, if you're a Microsoft user, which I believe all of us or majority of us are, you should be familiar with the look and feel of the interface because it's pretty much like Excel, like Outlook or like Word. So you have this very familiar tabbed ribbon menu on top, and then these panels. So you have 3 screens actually. The first one is the report screen. This is where you make the visualizations. This is where you add your charts, your graphs, and all those. The data screen is where the raw data is going to be loaded from your data source. Right now, there's none because we haven't connected yet. And then this is where the query designer will show the tables or the data sources you've selected from when you're accessing your data source and then selecting your data. Okay. So what's going to happen is we will be selecting a data source, and then we will select the data source. We will cleanse the data by transforming columns that we're interested in converting, and then basically we will exclude things that we do not need for this discussion. Okay. So we start from the Get Data button on top. So like I said earlier, you do have pre-built data source connector, data sources that you can choose from. Now, for the purpose of our discussion, it's going to be Power Platform, which was what we've set up for you guys. And then click Common Data Service. Click Connect. Now, this one will ask for the server URL, which is this guy up here. And then we click OK. All right. So we've set up a custom entity for the device orders, and that's the table that we're interested in adding for the raw data that we're going to collect. So this is this guy, device order. Now you can either load it straight away to Power BI, but we're interested in transforming the data first. So click on Transform Data. What this does is it brings the data over to a Power Query editor. So basically, you're extracting data to the screen, And then this is where you do some of the cleansing. So one of the things that you probably notice would be like the naming conventions, the table as well as the column. So let's take care of that. For the table, let's rename it to device order using the properties pane on the right. Let's call it device orders. All right. And now for the columns, we would like to rename it to something, more readable. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do all of them. So please bear with me. So you can do this by double clicking on the column name and then renaming it. Let's call this approval status ID. Approval status. Approved date. Approver. Let's call this one important thing that I'd like to remind everyone. Part of the cleansing phase would be excluding columns that we do not need for this report. So you can do that by clicking on choose columns right on top. So you see this pop-up box, uncheck everything. And we are interested only in status, approver, of course, department contribution, device name, where's device order ID, device type display, manufacturer, of course, price, where's request date and requested by. So of course, approved date, capital approve. All right. All right. So what happens is we got rid of the columns or the fields that we no longer need. So let's go back to let's continue renaming the columns. Department contribution. Device name. Device order. Okay, and just a little more, just bear with me, guys. So manufacturer ID. Now we have manufacturer, price, request date, and then finally requested by. And so we have removed the columns we no longer need and renamed the columns, renamed the table as well. And we move on to changing some formats. So you notice the price here, it doesn't have any, so it's like a decimal, right? So we want to convert it to currency, just highlight the column, and then you can right click, change type. Okay, sorry guys. So I just remembered for the price, you can do that in the Power BI screen. Here in the query, it's not yet included, but here we can already change the format for the date. So start with the request date, right click, change time, because right now it's in the long date format. We want to change it to just the short date version. And later for the currency, I will show it to you once we load it in the Power BI. So the same thing for approved date, change type, and then date. Okay. All right, so it looks like everything is in order. We close and apply, so it gets loaded to the data screen in Power BI. And that's Power BI getting the query results. Okay. And if you go to the data screen, this is where the data gets loaded from the query that we had earlier. So this is the part where we change the price to currency. This screen, I mean. So click on the column. And then right on top is where the format is at. Change it to currency. And then let's change it, because I'm based in Manila in the Philippines, let's change it to Philippine peso. So that's for the price, and it's changed to pesos. Let's do it for department contribution as well. Change it to currency, and since I've previously selected Philippine peso, it should be right on top. Yep, there you go. So that's a lot convenient. Okay, and all right. So it looks like it's good now. All right. So at this point, remember I mentioned earlier that during the preparation phase of the data journey, this is where you basically decide on whether you want to add certain elements into the report. So one of those would be adding two columns, which we will do right now. So you do that by going to this field pane, and then we go to new column. So that's more options over here, and then new column. It should be familiar to you because the formula bar right on top is very much Excel-like, right? So this is where you name the column. So I do have a prepared formula right here. So what this column does is essentially it generates a link for me so if I click on it, it brings me to the record in Dynamics. All right, right now it's still a text value for that column. We want to make sure that Power BI recognizes this as a web URL. So right on top in the ribbon, change it to web URL for data category. And then we're adding another column. This time we will be measuring the approval time in days. And again, I prepared a formula. So it's an Excel function which gives you the difference between two data values. All right, so there you go. So for each individual orders, you see the difference in days in terms of when it got approved. Okay, so it looks like our data is now ready. So we're now ready to visualize. So we go to the report screen. Okay, guys, it looks like I have just 5 more minutes for the session. So if it's okay with you guys, there might just be a little bit of extra that we're doing just to complete the demo, if that's fine. But yeah, just time checking myself as well. But we are moving on with the demo. So if you can bear with us, we would really appreciate that. So the first one, if you remember, is a table that we're adding to the report. So you can add it by double clicking the component here in the visualizations pane. All right, there you go. And then we will be adding the fields for this field. So let's go to, let me just expand this a little bit. Requested by approver, approval status, price, device name, manufacturer, device link, sorry, approval time and days, and then link. So as you select them, that becomes the order of the columns in the in this component or in the portlet. All right, so there you go. So let's take care of this long URL first. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so you can do that through the formatting feature in the visualizations panel. So click on that on the link, and then go to this roller, and then go to values, and then URL icon switch to on. And as you can see, it becomes a link icon. So if you actually click on it, it brings you to the record. Okay, so that's our first portlet. Now the second portlet that we're adding is a clustered bar chart. This one, this one. Okay, so for access, we're adding approver, approval time and days for values, and it automatically populates the data as you move along. So if I mouse over it, it tells you the number of days, but this is a sum of the approval. So to correct that, we need to set it to average in here. And you can also add more data to it, like let's say device order to the tooltip. And it becomes first device order as a default. Let's change it to count. So what it did right there is, if I mouse over, it's going to tell me the number of device orders for this particular requester, and in addition to the earlier data that was in there. Okay, and let's add another element. How about this? So should be requested. Hold on. Yeah, requested by approval status for values. And then price for values. Okay, that's it. So if you can remember the portlet that I showed you earlier, for the requesters, it's showing you the number of requests approved and not approved, and also the price relation. So that's the third portlet, and the next one we're making is the slicer. Which is just the approval status. Sorry. Okay. So as showed earlier, actually, even if you haven't published yet, again, it's a live data. So it's interactive even in the design view still. Okay. So let's add 2 cards. The reason why I'm clicking outside of the screen is because it needs to be deselected, or else it's going to update any selection that you have to the chart type that you clicked. So just be careful about that. So let's add device order. And we're interested in, of course, the count. All right. So, okay, let me just adjust this real quick so it fits. You can also rename it actually, so it becomes, it looks a lot better. So instead of count of device orders, it's just orders. So let's add another card. And set it to price. So we know, again, the order amount that you've selected, or for everything, for all the data set that's been displayed. So again, if I try to filter, it's going to update, right? Okay, let's add the donut chart. So for the donut chart, if you remember, it's manufacturer. For the legend, price for the values. And let's just resize this. And finally, we're adding the tree map, which is just a device type, really. Oops. Sorry, I selected the wrong one. So this is the tree map, all right? So device type group, 4 values. Okay, so we've essentially reproduced the dashboard, and from the application, once you're ready to publish it, you just click on publish. It's going to ask you to save it locally, so just save it. I'm putting version 2 because we already have a version 1 up there. It's going to ask for the workspace where you'd like to save it. Just click on whatever you've got. Okay, so it's a success. Let's click on Open Device Order version 2 in Power BI. Okay, we're just loading the page. Sometimes it could be a caching issue. So what I usually do is I just reload the screen. Okay, so this is what we've built from scratch in just a matter of minutes, guys. So it's so easy. There's still a lot of features that you can you can explore and use to slice and dice your data and make the help with your interpretation of your data in assisting your business. And with that, let me just get back to let me just circle back to the Power BI experience. So like I said, you have access to a lot of data sources. So with this coming into Power BI, you have real-time dashboards and interactive reports because it's live data that it's feeding from. You have natural language query, like what I've demoed when you're asking human-like questions to Power BI, and then it comes back with the data that you're asking for. Custom visualizations, native Excel integration, and you can act and automate, basically, because it's part of the Power Platform. And you can, in terms of delivery, you can deliver it or you can output it to the web, mobile, Excel, embedded applications, HoloLens, and future applications that will be supported by Power BI as well. So there's the integration with Excel. So for instance, not all users might have a license to Power BI. What you can do is extend the availability of the report or the dashboard through Excel, and other users can do that, which has access to Excel. So you can do that as well, essentially extending the collaboration of your output. In terms of support from a community, Power Platform is a big community of users already, around 1 million plus. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you do decide to explore Power BI more, you can go and sign up at community.powerbi.com, and then you can post your questions and get answers on them from experts. Another thing that you might be interested in would be checking out the data stories gallery in Microsoft. So if you're interested in seeing real life examples of how companies are taking advantage of Power BI in their day-to-day businesses, you can check out their galleries and learn from there. Just pick up some ideas and how you can implement it in your own company. So with Power BI, you can run your business in real time with live dashboards. That's one key element. You can ask questions of your data. If you remember, I was asking human-like questions earlier. That's what I did, and it's one of the advanced features of Power BI, really, for the kind of tool in its class. You can visualize insights in the context of your business. So, your imagination is your limitation when it comes to slicing and dicing and then making it presentable for the consumption of your business and your execs. You can get from insights to actions quickly because of how quickly you can put them together using this tool. And I would like to invite you, you've seen the power of what Power BI can do in just a matter of 1 hour, and it's just an hour. Typically, this discussion or this topic requires 1 full day for you to really appreciate what Power BI can do and how it can add value to your organization. And again, you can always reach out to us for any questions that you might have. And thank you guys for attending.